Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is emergence of sociology of class 11th, subject sociology. In this we have to discuss enlightenment. What is enlightenment? It is universe syllabus. We have already discussed yesterday briefly about emergence of sociology, and today we shall discuss directly what is enlightenment. The Enlightenment was an intellectual movement that spans approximately 100 years from the 1860s to 1789. मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, the Enlightenment was an intellectual movement. It was the moment of reason. It was the moment of thinking. It was the moment of science. It was the moment of thought. ये एक मुहिम थी, एक मूवमेंट थी जो कि 1860 से लेकर 1780-90 तक रही. Or we shall say straightway that it remained from 17th century up to 19th century. What this Enlightenment was all about? Enlightenment writers include Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, etc., the French writers who were sometimes called the philosophers. The leading representatives were religious skeptics, political reformers, cultural critics, historians, and social theorists who were associated with the Enlightenment movement or who were its protagonists. For example, the people like Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, etc. These were mostly the French people who were associated with this movement, and they were mostly political reformers who want the reforms in the system of government, politics, cultural critics, religious skeptics who do not believe in a religion of that time, because religion was dominant. It was tyrannical at that time, and the power of thinking was curtailed by this clergy and the church. Let us proceed forward. In contrast to systems of thought where the sacred and dominated and where questioning was discouraged. At that time, my dear students, the questioning, the inquiry, the scientific inquiry, these things were, and the questions raised against the said order, the said system of that time, they were discouraged. They were the people who raised questions, who raised doubts about that very period or of that very this regime. Those people were exiled, they were murdered, they were hanged. The thinkers viewed human reason as dominant. The modern thinkers of that time thought that human reason as dominant. The Enlightenment thinkers brought the tradition of experimentation, and the Enlightenment thinkers, those thinkers who believe in reason, who believe in intellectual thinking, who believe in experimentation, who believe in observation, who thought that we should take on the universe by experimentation, they brought the tradition of experimentation. They brought the tradition of science. They brought the tradition of thinking. They brought the tradition of inquiry. The result was a new system of human inquiry that attacked the older order, put emphasis and faith on science, scientific method, and education, and acquired the practical function of asking critical questions about existing institutions and demanding that the unreasonable ones, those contrary to human nature, be changed. The new approach was an empirical and scientific one, at the same time that it was philosophical. It was philosophical. The Enlightenment thinkers thought that people could understand and control the world by means of reason and empirical research. Social laws could be discovered and society could be improved by means of rational and empirical inquiry. This form of thought was reformist and that challenged the older order. My dear students, it is all that I said to you. I told you that the new system came into being, and the rationalist thinkers, Enlightenment thinkers, thought that empirical research and the reason should rule the roost. It should become prominent as compared to the old order of church, where thinking is curtailed, where thinking is suppressed, where thinking is depressed. So they gave prominence to the empirical research, the power of reason, the power of science, the power of thought, rationalism and empiricism. Simply, this Enlightenment movement was the movement of science, movement of experimentation, movement of observation. This change in outlook was rendered possible due to progress of science and its new laws and methods. The thinkers tried to lay the foundations of systematic disciplines of social sciences. The spirit of reason which pervaded this ago left a deep impact on literature, music and fine arts. In this period, the thinkers doubt everything and try to measure everything on reason. The thinking of 18th century manifests the influence of scientific outlook. In that century, a new outlook developed in the intellectual sphere which promoted rational inquiry, collectively called Enlightenment. During the age of Enlightenment, the impact of science and logic on the thinking and outlook of the masses was so much that it is also called the age of intellectual revolution. During intellectual revolution, man was the center of thinking. The welfare of human beings was considered the ultimate goal. The intellectual revolution established human prestige, human rights, human ideals. Before that, when church and clergy dominated everything, now it was confronted by scientific thinkers. The most important intellectual thinkers were Thomas Bacon, Descartes, Diderot, Hume, Rousseau, Adam Smith, John Locke, Hobbes, Galileo, Newton, etc. 18th century is called the century of Enlightenment. My dear students, हमने क्या समझा अब तक? जो मैंने अब तक आपको आपके सामने पढ़ा, ये सिंपली ये बात है कि एनलाइटनमेंट, ये हम एनलाइटनमेंट पढ़ते हैं जिसको हम इंटेलेक्चुअल रिवोल्यूशन भी कहते हैं, एज ऑफ रीज़न भी कहते हैं. इसमें क्या है, जो प्रीवियस रिलीजियस ऑर्डर था, रूल ऑफ चर्च था, मज़हब अहदेदारों का जो उस पर दबदबा था सोसाइटी पे, चाहे वो रॉन्ग हो या राइट हो, वो चलता था. लेकिन अब कुछ लोगों ने जो अपने आप को साइंटिफिक कहते हैं, जो अपने आप को रिफॉर्मिस्ट्स कहते हैं, जो अपने आप को जो सोसाइटी को सुधारने वाले कहते हैं, जो अपने आप को कहते हैं कि अब थिंकिंग ऑफ ह्यूमन शुड बी ऑन द फोर फ्रंट, थिंकिंग ऑफ मैन शुड बी ऑन द फोर फ्रंट, साइंस शुड रूल द रूस्ट, साइंस को आगे आना चाहिए, हमें प्रीवियस ऑर्डर पे क्वेश्चंस उठाने चाहिए, क्रिटिकल बनना चाहिए, और जिससे क्या उससे क्या होगा कि ह्यूमन वेलफेयर बढ़ जाएगा. हमें ह्यूमन वेलफेयर के लिए काम करना चाहिए, उनके रिस्पेक्ट के लिए काम करें, उनकी पॉलिटिकल इक्वलिटी के लिए काम करना चाहिए. तो दिस मूवमेंट वाज ऑल अबाउट दैट. ये मूवमेंट उसी सिलसिले में थी, और इसको हम साइंटिफिक रिवोल्यूशन भी कहेंगे, इंटेलेक्चुअल रिवोल्यूशन भी कहेंगे. यहाँ से साइंस वजूद में आया, नए नए सब्जेक्ट्स, नए नए मौज़ूआत वजूद में आए, नए नए तालीमात वजूद में आए. जो प्रीवियस ऑर्डर था, रूल ऑफ चर्च था, वो उसका इन्फ्लुएंस बहुत कम हो गया और साइंस ने आगे बढ़ना शुरू किया. जिससे ह्यूमन वेलफेयर बढ़ गया, ह्यूमन जो सोशल लॉज वो आगे आ गए, नए सोशल साइंसेस आगे आ गए, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पॉलिटी, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हिस्ट्री, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ, और एजुकेशन का नया निज़ाम आगे आ गया, लिटरेचर का नया निज़ाम, ह्यूमन स्टडीज़ का नया निज़ाम आगे आ गया, इस जो हमने डिस्कस कर रहे हैं enlightenment. Simply it was all about. Inshallah today we shall discuss next of that. Till then, Assalamu